What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another one of these playoff catch-up videos. It's kind of been a bit dead ever since the draft lottery content-wise. I haven't really known what to put up here, but we're a few days into the actual playoff round, and I feel like there's a lot to talk about, series by series. We're going to start in the West because that's probably the easiest of the two places to start. Vegas, Chicago, anybody? This series has been pretty interesting. Vegas, unsurprisingly, has been fairly dominant. Fairly dominant. They've controlled a lot of play. Game 2 did go to overtime, but a lot of fluky goals by Chicago. Vegas is kind of smothered when it came to play. Corey Crawford hasn't been the best. Vegas are up 2-0 already. Game 3's tomorrow. It's not looking so good for the Blackhawks, which is kind of unfortunate as an Oilers fan because for me, my team losing was bad enough, but I want whatever team to beat me to go on and do something, even if that's win a couple games in the first round. So it's sad to see that Chicago are just completely plummeting right now into unknown, uncontrollable waters. But yeah, they're kind of just getting smothered and taken down by Vegas. St. Louis, Vancouver has been interesting. Game 2 is going to happen. I'm recording this at 5:10. Colorado has beaten Arizona in their Game 2, and Montreal is currently up on Philly, which it's helping that prediction bracket I put together. But so St. Louis, Vancouver, man, that was an interesting Game 1. I didn't really expect that. Vancouver came out. They looked fairly good. I knew that I had a feeling they were going to win this series, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure I predicted that. Yeah, I did. I predicted that they were going to win and then take on Colorado, who, like I said, is up 2-0 currently in the series against Arizona. But Vancouver did look very good against St. Louis. I touched on Colorado, Arizona. Colorado, Arizona, Arizona had 14 shots in Game 1. I had a feeling that this was going to kind of be the tone of the series. I thought Arizona might put up a bit more of a fight. So far, Colorado is killing it. Calgary, Dallas has been a pretty fun series to watch. Now, obviously, I didn't get to watch Game 1 because, are you watching a Game 1 of a series, or are you watching a 5 overtime game? Make your pick. Pick wisely. But yeah, I watched Game 2, and oh man, the goals are horrendous. The goaltending play has not been the best from either goalie. A few very questionable goals each goalie is allowing. In Game 2, Calgary's down by 2 goals, and then they get a shorthanded goal, and then they storm back and make a comeback, only to have Jamie freaking Alexiak score a goal. What is it with defensive defensemen just putting up these ridiculous goals in this playoffs? I know what happens, but this is an outrageous amount of it happening. This is uncontrollable amounts of that scenario right there taking place. But yeah, Jamie Alexiak, and now that series is tied. And Game 3 is also tonight. Back-to-back games for them. Moving over to the West. Philly and Montreal feels like a series where, listen, out the gate, Game 1, Philly won it. Carter Hart played incredible, but you could tell Montreal played even with them. I mean, you just have to look at the stats. You look at the play on the ice. Yes, the score had Philly winning, but the game was a lot closer than that. And now in Game 2, I haven't really even watched the game, but all I know is I look on NHL.com, and when you take a look on NHL.com, they're up 4 or 5-0 at this point. I think it's still 4-0. 4-0. Yeah, a 4-0 lead. They're not doing bad. It's also the third period, 4-0 lead. So they're not doing bad. And if they tie that series, who knows where it goes from there. I think Montreal could be a bit of a threat to Philly. Carolina, Boston. So this series in Game 1. Game 1 was delayed because of that whole 5 overtime thing I haven't gotten to yet. It got delayed. And then their game went to overtime on a 3-game day. And yeah, what can I say? The series has played out the way I thought it was going to. The games have been very close, very competitive. The bunch of jerks have just been doing the bunch of jerk things. I'm not surprised by what's happening, really. And James Reimer getting a playoff win in Toronto. Like, Steve Dangle was just raving about this on Twitter. But yeah, shout out to James Reimer for playing as well as he did. Mrazek played well too. They got two really good goalies. And really it's just kind of the throw up of who you want to throw into the net between the two. But yeah, like, can't really complain with how that's going, you know. I'm hoping Carolina can pull it out because I would love to see A, Boston fall in the first round, and B, Carolina go on a run. Feels like it could be their year. They always love to go deep when they make it. Imagine if it happens. Just in 2020, why not? Carolina versus... I predicted Carolina, Colorado. Let's do it. Let's see it. Come on. Let's see it happening. We're going to save Tampa Columbus for last. Let's go to Washington Islanders. And this and the Colorado-Arizona series are the series where I haven't actually watched the games. I haven't watched them. They, A, fall in the weird time slot where I don't really want to watch hockey, and I still am trying to, you know, like, just do some other things throughout the day before I immediately sit down and go just right into watching hockey 24/7 mode. But again, it was kind of crazy to see here that, you know, Washington had a 2-0 lead, and then the Islanders were the ones with the explosive offense. Ha! Uno reverse card, people. But yeah, intriguing is what I'm gonna say. Game 2 today. Will we get an even up series, or can the Islanders take a bit of a stranglehold? And thus we get to the series that I've watched the most, the series that I've loved the most, Columbus-Tampa. This, in my opinion, was also the most intriguing first-round matchup. That and Carolina-Boston, mainly because we saw them play each other last year, and I wanted to see how they played out. And then Game 1, I remember I lost interest in the third period. And it almost felt like I blinked. I think I might have fallen asleep. And they were in overtime, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. They go to double overtime. Oh, okay. Triple overtime. Nice. We're getting to see a bit of a throwback. Fourth overtime. Boys, you tired yet? Fifth overtime. I demand a reasoning behind this. Yeah, both teams were absolutely dead, and this literally went down to... It's literally like any fighting scene ever where the bad guy wins almost. Like, I see Tampa as the bad guy in this scenario, and Columbus is the plucky underdog. And, you know, Columbus gave it everything they had. Seth Jones played 65 minutes, and Joonas Korpisalo made 85 saves. 85. Do you know how many that... He made more saves than some goalies in the entire playoffs this year in the play-in round. That is actually outrageous. The amount of saves he made in that game. And what happens to end the game? Gavrikov gets hit in the face, and that was like their last hope. Like, his block to the face is the reason it didn't end then, and then Braden Point just hits it, and I imagine Joonas can't even lift up his arms, and that's why he isn't even able to make the save. It ends, and Braden Point can't even jump up and celebrate. They're both just tired. Who cares? 2 days later, they go back out there, and Columbus wins. They win 3-1 in a very, very nice little Columbus game. They allow the first goal, but then they completely intact. Joonas Korpisalo is insane, and I don't care what circumstances we're in. This might be a good or bad thing for him, but next year, he's going to be regarded as one of the best goalies in the league. I'm sorry. In my opinion, I've looked at what Joonas Korpisalo has done. I've always liked the potential that he's had. And I always felt like, you know, because he was behind Bobrovsky, he's always going to be overshadowed. This year, it's him and Merzlikins, and now they both look incredible. But this run makes Joonas Korpisalo, who... This might be hard to remember, but going into the end of the season, you know, Merzlikins was the guy who was pinned almost as the better goalie. He was the one who was getting the majority of the starts down the stretch, the one playing the better hockey at the time, and that's why it was questionable to me when Korpisalo did get the start in Game 1 against Toronto. And he proved me wrong now, didn't he? Yeah, and now his name is in the history books, and I know it's only a couple games, but if he can just have another good few games, he doesn't even need to be as ridiculous as he's been. If he can just go on a little bit better, like just keep some consistency of a stretch, and Columbus wins a round, or maybe even two, no question, Joonas Korpisalo has to be regarded as one of the best goalies in the league, right? I mean, look at the mosh pit that's been goaltending over the past season or so. It's been very inconsistent. Some goalies will be good, some goalies won't be as good. It's been pretty inconsistent. And Korpisalo may have just shooed himself up there as one of the names to watch as an elite goalie going into next season. I'm really excited to see what he can bring to the table. But yeah, that's all the series to talk about. When it comes to who's in the lead of series right now, everyone I predicted to win is either A, tied with their opponent, or B, in the lead. My predictions are looking pretty good, and remember, over the past few years, last year, I said this in my prediction video, I think, I went 6-8 in the first round the year before. Last year, sorry. And then the year before, I went 8 out of 8, and then I think the year before that, I went 8 out of 8 as well. I've been very good with my predictions, and it falls apart after the second round. Don't get me wrong. I'm horrible predicting in the final 8 teams, but this first round, I'm good at predicting it. I don't know why, but I've always had pretty good efficiency when predicting it. Thank you all for watching this video. I had a good time. I've had a good time. The live stream is the main thing I wanted to touch on, guys. That live stream we had the other day was absolutely insane. The 2020 draft lottery, we had about, I think, 100 viewers is what it's at now, and that is ridiculous, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to continue pumping out content very soon. During this first round, I'm hoping to get out some Edmonton Oilers related content, because I think there's still a lot to talk about. There are the Oscar Klefbom trade rumors out there, which, yeah, what's that about, Ken? That better not be happening, Holland, I swear to God. But yeah, we're going to have some Oilers content coming out about what I think they need to do. We're going to look at some of the prospects that they have in the system, some of the moves that they should try and make. But that will all be coming in due time. Thank you all for watching this video. I will see you all on the next one. And goodbye for now.